Hello everyone, welcome to day something, 20-something of March Madness. This didn't work. This didn't work out very well. But, yeah. Today we're talking about winter 2018. My final, not really final thoughts, because there's still shows that I gotta watch, like Hakume to Mikochi. I watched an episode of that, thought it was pretty cool, and just didn't get back to it. So that's an honorary mention, I guess. For as long as I've been watching seasonal anime, which isn't very long at all, I only started back in 2016 with Erased, but this is easily the season that I've enjoyed the most, as far as, like, finding good shows, like, not just one good show to stick with. Like, I know in the past I've had, like, Erased I enjoyed watching at the time, Mob Psycho I liked watching it while it was airing, Yuri on Ice, stuff like that. But there'd be, like, one, maybe two shows that were good that I actually kept up with. I would go back and watch some later, but, like, in the moment, as the season was happening, wasn't super into, like, the seasonal anime as a whole. But winter 2018, that changed, because there were at least two shows I was watching that I would easily give, like, an 8 out of 10 or higher, meaning that, like, easily would go back and rewatch it. They are great. There's a third, which might be, I'm still a little behind on Violet Evergarden, but that could easily be up there as well, because it's great. I've seen, 9 episodes of it so far, and that's been solid as well. And then there are other shows which were also really great that I need to catch up on, like Hugto Precure. That, yeah, it's great. I don't care if it's a show for little girls. The characters in it are so endearing. The conflicts, they're powerful. Of course, it's like the general themes of, like, friendship is power, but it's a good theme. Come on. Like, it's just great. And the way that Hugto Precure is able to... See, I'd never gotten into Precure... So I'd never gotten into Precure previously, but people were talking about it. People were hyping the shit out of this show. Pedantic Romantic made a video on it. Pretty convincing argument towards why you should watch Precure. So, yeah, I went and I watched Precure. I've seen 5 episodes at this point. But I definitely need to get caught up. I fell behind, just for... I was watching Steins Gate and Serial Experiments Lane, for, like, the last week and a half. So that took up a decent chunk of my time, and also I've been making videos nonstop, so, that also doesn't help. But yeah, Precure's been great. So far, the 3 main girls that were introduced, the 3, Precure girls, they're all great. I don't know, it's just interesting to see the ways that it's exploring its conflicts, even though it is a kid's show. The ideas it's going for, this idea that, like, you can cheer somebody on, but, you know, when they've already tried their best, you know, you do need to kind of give them some space and, you know, let them kind of figure things out on their own. That's a more nuanced theme than you would typically, I don't know if I want to call it a theme, but it's a more nuanced idea than you typically see in a kid's show. So while, yes, the core idea of friendship is magic, friendship is powerful, that might still be the same, but, like, the ways it's exploring that idea... What is this? A fish? But the ways that it's exploring that idea are really, really engaging, really interesting. Of course, the main character is just super bubbly, and she's adorable. I love characters that are all hyperactive and, you know, super... what's the word I'm looking for? Hyperactive and just positive, super positive. I love those kind of characters. They're great. So if there's anything you should take away from this video, other than watching all the other shows that I'm about to talk about, watch Precure. Doesn't even matter if you haven't watched Precure previously. I hadn't watched Precure before this, but watch Precure. Do it. Now. Then, of course, there's the aforementioned Violet Evergarden. Watching Violet's character exploration has been amazing. I loved how the show started out with more episodic little bite-sized chunks, just kind of putting Violet in these different scenarios and seeing how her really just stone-faced, like, I'm not typically super invested in the more deadpan characters. I don't really get the, not aesthetic, that's not the word I'm looking for. But I don't, I guess, really get the appeal of characters who just, like, don't show emotion, who are just kind of, like, meh, and they just kind of dead-face everything. I mean, there's comedic potential out of that. I definitely could see that in a character like, what's her name from Recreators, the character, the deadpan character. She was there and she was funny, but But of course with Violet, there's a real human experience behind that. Just her emotions being completely nulled through the war, and she's just this weapon, and she's got to become, she's got to learn how to become an actual human, because they had treated her like garbage. Other than the Major, everyone else had just treated her like a tool of war, just treated her like trash. And so in about the first third of the story, you just see Violet go through these, episodic experiences, just seeing these different characters and slowly learning to take in more emotions, slowly learning to feel. But then, of course, in episode, I think it was 7 at the very end, spoilers by the way, but that gets blown the fuck out when the dude tells her the secret that, she finds out that the Major is dead, or at least missing in action. And so yeah, she thought he was alive, he not, or doesn't seem to be. And so she goes from slowly taking in emotions, slowly learning to feel, to then, boom, emotional overload. She is just a wreck. When the guy had said that, your body is burning and you'll realize that you have many burns, yeah, she realizes that she's on fire, metaphorically speaking, of course. And just seeing the depths of that depression. Like, there's even the part where she tries to, like, choke herself. And I do... Not that that's good to see, not that that's a happy experience, but I do like sort of seeing that. I like that Violet Evergarden didn't try to shy away from that, they didn't shy away from the severity of her emotions, because, yeah, she would have some pretty severe trauma after going through everything that she has. And I like that the good people at KyoAni were not willing to shy away from those emotions. People said that the show started slow. I just don't think this is a show that's made for watching weekly. Like, there are some shows that I can watch weekly and it's fine, and I almost prefer watching them weekly. But for a show like Violet Evergarden, I wasn't keeping up with it weekly. I was kind of catching up on it. So I was able to just watch a few episodes back to back, and I felt that that was a better experience for me, at least. I was glad I didn't keep up with it, because it does have a bit of a slow start, but, when people are watching things weekly, they're quick to drop a show because, the show's too slow, nothing's happening, she's so not emoting, bleh. But that was obviously the point of the show, and I think that it's been doing pretty well. It's not over yet, still got several episodes to go. But from what I have heard, I think it goes back to the episodic formula after she's had her big emotional moment. And so to kind of see those episodic stories explored again, although this time with a more emotionally receptive Violet, that would be interesting. I'm happy to see it. That might also be up there in the rankings with the top 2 shows that I've actually been keeping up with, but we'll see where that goes. Then there's Darling in the Franxx, which I almost forgot about. Not to say that the show's been bad. Some people will say that it's bad, but it's not. Does it measure up to a show like, or do I think that it will measure up to a show like Kill la Kill or Gurren Lagann? At least for me, as far as the emotional resonance, I don't think so. Because at least with those shows, I could tell early on in just like the first couple of episodes that, oh, this is something special. In the case of Kill la Kill, I dropped it twice. Going back and revisiting it, going a bit further into the show even, I was able to pick up on it. Although, like, at the very least, when I did drop Kill la Kill, I knew that there was, like, a very distinct atmosphere to it. It just was an atmosphere that didn't appeal to me at that time. But with Darling in the Franxx, not to say that it doesn't have an atmosphere to it, but it took so long for me to even figure out what the show was trying to do. Like, it was obviously going to set up the characters and set up the idea that this is a show about sex, but I didn't really know what it was trying to go for, and it took a while to kind of set up all the details, and then now it's starting to go into exploring the characters and exploring these ideas a bit more in depth. And as I previously said with Steins Gate, that's not a bad thing. It just all depends on what the second half of the show is going to do. So I can't really give a full review on Darling in the Franxx when it's only not even half completed at the time I'm recording this. It's only got 11 episodes, but I love the characters in it so far. I love the dynamics of each character, and a lot of the time, I mean, of course, this show is just a Sakuga spectacle for the most part. Even whether it's nuanced character acting or big action set pieces, like Darling in the Franxx does it all. The soundtrack doesn't strike me in the same way that Gurren Lagann and Kill la Kill did. Not to say that it's a bad soundtrack, but it doesn't have that extra punch. We're just like, yeah, this is Darling in the Franxx. not quite getting that feeling from it. But especially after this recent episode, they seem to be dropping some hints towards homosexuality, like exploring that in the show. I don't know what they're going to do with it. It seems like a more minor plot line because it's only just one of the more insignificant side characters. I don't know if I want to say insignificant, but she hasn't really gotten a lot of focus up to this point. But there's something there. They, exploring the idea of like having different partners. So I guess showing how different relationships can be toxic through eating boy. I hate to use that description, but I don't remember any other character traits about him other than he is overprotective of the other girl. I don't remember their names. God, that's the thing with this show is I am attached to a lot of the characters. Like Ichigo is great. Goro, best boy. Hiro is pretty basic. And, for a protagonist in one of these shows, not that having a more emotionally bleh protagonist is always a bad thing, but he's not super captivating. 02, she's amazing, top tier. But easily the best couple in this show would have to be Zorome and Miku, because they're just so... they're perfect for each other, and they don't even know it. Just like the ways that some of the shots are laid out, like in the one where the guys and the girls split up and they were having their gender warfare thing. You had them both up in the top bunk and they had like the exact same pose basically with like hands behind their head and just kicking back. They're great. They're great. And I love that, I love that attention to detail, that it's not just the way that they act is the same, but even just more subtle things like what they're doing. I don't want to say the way that they're drawn, but like the environments they're placed in. They'll have similar reactions. And that episode with Zorome out in the nowhere land and learning about things, that was great. He's such a cute boy. This show is just so many great character designs at the very least. But yeah, Darling in the Franxx is good. I've been enjoying it. I think the second half is gonna lead to good things, and I think this is gonna be a good show in the end. Although I can definitely see why people would not want to keep up with this show, because might be better to binge once you know everything that's going on. But yeah. Then there's Yudu Camp. Yudu Camp. Oh, I gotta get comfy. I gotta be maximum. This isn't maximum comfy, but this is good enough. Yudu Camp has been wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Oh my god, I'm always in a great mood when I watch this show because it's just so heartwarming. It's just so comfy. It's so inviting. It just wants to bring you in and just cover you in this warm blanket that is the story of this show and the characters and the environment and the atmosphere. And I talked about Nadeshiko in my Best Girls video. She's great, never fails to put a smile on my face. She makes a cup of ramen look like a 5-star meal. Oh my god, the show. It's also got a great sense of humor. I'm not big to generally talk about comedy in anime, but Yudu Camp has got great gags all across the board, whether it's the characters and their witty banter back and forth, or some more like visual gags. Like there's the one in, I forget the episode. The timing of the jokes is great. The wordplay, just the character interactions, all the stuff with Reen's hair, the Reen bun that they make at the very end. Oh my god, it's just such a great show. It makes me want to go winter camping, which is sad because winter is coming to an end. But it's good. It's good if you're in a bad mood and you need a good pick me up. You need a show to just snuggle you up in a warm blanket and just put you in a mood where you just wanna get better. You just wanna be happy. You just wanna be you just wanna have a good time. Yudu Camp is great. It's one of the like top shows I would recommend for this more laid back. This more laid back, get it, laid back camp, But this is probably one of my favorite slice of life, just no real plot, just characters doing a thing, cute girls doing cute things, as it were. Definitely one of my favorites. I give it a high recommendation. I loved it. And then finally, we have... This didn't work. And then finally, we... And finally... we have a place further than the universe, which I'm going to do a full video on this, and I'm going to say that now, because if I don't do it, then I got to kick my ass to do it, because I already have, like, I was already starting to write a script before I started March Mathness, and I didn't finish it, but it's there, and I'm going to finish it. I'm going to get it done. So if, yeah, this is me, a challenge to myself later to make a video on UdoCamp, or no, not, I mean, I could do one if I think of anything, but A Place Further in the Universe, I need to make one because I already started one, and I'm not gonna let that script go to waste. But this show is great. The characters, you know, it's another cute girls do cute things thing, but the emotions in this show, they're too real. The characters, they feel too real to me. These 4 girls want to go to Antarctica. That's the main driving force of the show, is that they want to go to Antarctica. But what's interesting about this show is that it takes so long to actually get there. It's less about the destination, and it's not even necessarily like the journey to get to the destination, because there are a couple of episodes showing them getting to Antarctica, but there are even episodes before that, the very beginning of the show, where they have to get to a point where they can even start going to Antarctica. So it's less about the destination, it's less about the journey, but it's the journey to get to the journey. And the way that the characters explore this conflict and the way the characters are written, I don't want to go into too much spoilers, and also I want to make a full video on this, but just watch it. I recommended UdoCamp. I gave it a high recommendation. This is a must-watch. This is my anime of the season right here, Place Further in the Universe. If you haven't seen it, you're wasting your life. That's right. I said it. You need to watch this. Watch A Place Further Than the Universe, because it's my top anime of winter 2018, and I'm going to miss it when it's over. I'm recording this the day before it ends, and I've already been a sobbing mess for the last, 3 weeks, so I might just disintegrate into a blob of tears. So if no more videos come out from me after this, that's why. But in saying that, though, I still have to make that full video on the show, so even if I become a blob of tears, you're still going to see content from me. So yeah, that's today's video. That's this edition of March Madness. Go check out these shows if you haven't already. If you were waiting for them to end, most of them are done. A Place Further in the Universe wraps up this week. UdoCamp is already done. The only show that isn't even close to ending is Darling in the Franxx. But, yeah, when spring season ends, and if you're waiting for Darling in the Franxx to be completely done, then go watch it at the end of the spring season. I might talk about it again in the future, but it's just go do it. And until next time, may your days be shiny, may your penguins be penguiny, and may your blankets be secret society-y.